Have you ever been lifted by someone and slammed down as hard as they can? I can tell you, it's not fun. Hi, my name is Daniel Costa, and I'm here to tell you about how wrestling has taught me the values of hard work, accountability, and leadership, and how I applied those into my daily life. I've been wrestling for 14 years, and it's been a huge part of my life, and I learned many things from this sport. So many of the things I learned, I applied into my daily life. The first one being very hardworking, and the second one will be accountability, and the third one will be how I learned a lot of leadership roles and how to be a leader throughout my life. The first one I'm going to talk about is how I am hardworking. You have to put in the work in anything you do, especially when it comes to wrestling. Putting in the hard work during practice directly affects how I do during the match. So if I put in a lot of work during my practices, I'll do really well during matches. If there's days where I'm lazy, that's obviously going to affect how I wrestle in the match. I'm going to be wrestling lazy. The main reference I can say to this is Kobe Bryant and his Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant worked really hard in everything he did inside and outside of practice, and you can see how well he did throughout his life. Also, I went to a camp in Oregon called J-Rob, and the motto there is get up and train while your opponent is sleeping. So I use that and apply it to my daily life by taking extra time to study, and also taking extra time and going out of my way at work to help out my fellow employees with anything they need to do. So going that extra mile, helping them out. Working hard and making yourself better is a good part, but also holding yourself accountable is also as important. So one of the great things about wrestling is it's a very individual sport. So anything that you do during a match, it's on yourself. Other sports like football, if you miss a tackle, sometimes someone else can cover for you. Wrestling's not the case because it's very individual. You have to hold yourself accountable for all your actions. So holding yourself accountable for your actions is something I learned very early on, that my own actions affect how I do. So if I do something good or something bad, I hold that accountable for myself. Also, holding myself accountable when I lose, because when I lose, I know what I need to work on and things like that. And then holding myself accountable is very important, but also being a leader is just as important to that. And my main reference for good leaders is my coaches and captains. I learned from them, and from what I learned from them, I passed on to when I became a captain. So being a great leader inside and outside of work, because you don't know who's watching you. So I always like the example of lead by example. Leading by example is very important because so you're not a hypocrite or any way like that, to where if you're walking around doing what you need to do and you're preaching these things to your whoever's below you, you know not for them not to pretty much follow your bad habits but your good habits. So I learned that from watching my coaches, getting good habits from them, and then I passed that on by just copying them, keeping my good habits, and I'm hoping the younger ones can look at me and keep those good habits. I do the same thing at work. When I'm working, I do everything the standard. I don't take shortcuts, so that whenever I teach the younger people, they're not taking shortcuts or anything. And that's why being a leader is very important, but also being part of a leader is you have to keep that hard work and accountability with it. So to conclude, from wrestling, I learned hard work, to be a hard worker. I learned to hold myself accountable and to be a leader, and I apply that to wherever I can, whether it's my education or whether it's my work. I hold myself accountable. I work as hard as I can in everything I do, whether it's studying, tests, work, doing those things. And if you ever have any extracurriculars, I highly recommend to learn the values you can from those and apply them to your daily life. Thank you, and hope you have a great day.